Hey beauties, welcome back to my channel. Today I am doing a get ready with me and I'm trying out some more affordable options. I've bought quite a few things from e.l.f. and Milani. I've got these guys from e.l.f. I have the new Poreless Putty Primer that we're going to be trying out. I've got the Milani bronzer and then their new lipstick. It's like a satin matte or whatever. I have quite a few different things here to try out. So everything I use today is on the more affordable side. So if you want to see how I created this look and what I thought about the new products, just keep watching. The first thing I'm going to go in with is this new primer from e.l.f. This is the Poreless Putty Primer, and a lot of people have been comparing this to the Tatcha Silk Canvas, which I am a huge fan of. I will say I have already used this a couple of times trying to see if I liked it on my pores, and I don't. Like, it's just not enough for my pore area, so I'm going to use it in the same manner that I would with my Tatcha Silk Canvas. This doesn't come with like a disc or anything, so I'm just putting my fingers in here and I'm going to put it on the perimeter of my face. Now I'm going to go in with a foundation that I have already reviewed on my channel. I'll try to remember to link it down below, but it's the L'Oreal Infallible Up to 24-Hour Fresh Wear Foundation. I actually like this guy. It's not too thick, it's not real matte, like it's a really nice, affordable foundation. Because I'm going to also be trying out their Infallible Full Wear Concealer, more than concealer. So I figured I would go ahead and go in with this foundation as well. And it's a foundation that I already know that I like, so I can find out if I like the primer. And if anybody's wondering, I'm using the shade 425 in the foundation. Now, like I had mentioned, we're going to try out this new L'Oreal concealer. It is the Infallible Full Wear More Than Concealer, and I've got the shade Bisque 350. I haven't used this before. All I've done is put it on my hand to see like what the texture was, and it seemed like it was pretty matte, like real matte. And then to set that, I'm going to go in with my ColourPop No Filter setting powder, and I'm going to bake underneath my eyes. I'll also end up taking this on my nose and chin as well. And then to set the rest of my face, I'm going in with the Maybelline Fit Me, and this is the shade Fair Light number 10 and a Delium 974. And I am going to get powder all over my shirt. And then I'm just going to dust away the bake. For bronzer, I'm going in with this new one from Milani. As you can see, this is pretty cool tone. I'm going to have to be careful with it. This is the Sun-Kissed Silky Matte Bronzer. This is the number 2. And I'm going to use my Royal & Langnickel BOM 36. And like I said, I'm going to have to be careful because this is very cool tone. We'll see how it goes in the skin. It smells like the butter bronzer. And now for blush, I'm going in with the e.l.f. Primer Infused Blush in Always Cherry. It's funny because I saw this, I haven't used this yet, I have touched it. I wanted to see if it was like a cream or a powder, and it is a powder. But Buxom has come out with something like this as well, so I also bought that. So I'm curious to see how they compare to one another. But let me get a brush to pop this on. Using a Linda Hallberg 310. Okay, I thought this was going to be a little bit... it's not coming off with a lot of color payoff here. It's almost looking like a pale pink instead of like, on camera this probably looks pale pink, but it's looked pretty peachy in person. We'll see. So I'm not sure how I feel about that because I had to really pack it on to get the color to pay off. It might just be better for somebody lighter skin tone than myself, but I also feel like there's a little bit of texture on my cheeks now, whereas it's not like a luminous blush, so I don't know, I'm not sure about the blush. But now I'm gonna go in with this new highlighter also from e.l.f., and this is the Metallic Flare Highlighter in White Gold. Linda Hallberg 306. Feel like I have to kind of scrape the product off of here. Definitely gonna want a stiffer brush, but once you get it, it's definitely intense after you get it actually on your skin. I'm gonna bring it up because I love to be glowy. And then final step before I go in with my eyes, I'm going to go ahead and buff, and I'm using the Milani Prep Set and Glow Illuminating Transparent Powder. This is a powder that I have raved about in the past. I'm not going to use too much, just a little bit. And this is a Sonia Kashuk large powder brush. And then Rimmel London sent this palette over to me, so I'm going to be using this for my eyes today. It's the Magnifies Spice Edition palette. So I'm going to go ahead and zoom you guys in. BOM 44 and the 9th shade in the palette, and I'm going to start on the outer corner here. And then I'm going to start working it into the crease and blending it upward. I'm really taking this color and bringing it up and blowing it out. BOM 47, and I'm taking that same shade right along the lower lash line, outer to inner corner, and kind of smoking it downward just a little bit. Stellium 777 and the shimmer shade to the left of that last shade. I am packing this onto the lid and it's dry, but I did not set my lid. I set around my brow area and this area, but I did not set my lid so that whatever I put on would adhere really well. With the BOM 46, I'm going to go ahead and take that shade into the crease just to round it out a little bit. BOM 47 and the 7th shade in the palette. There's no names, I'm sorry. And I'm going to take that right on the inner corner. I'm just going to brighten that up. I'm going to drag it right on the front part of the lower lash line, a little over the lid. Clean BOM 46, and I'm just going right around the edges of that, so make it not so harsh. Stellium 773 and the first shade in the palette, I'm highlighting my brow arch. It's very bright. And you know I gotta take a hint of that to the inner corner. To finish off the eye look, all I did was align my top inner rim with this liner here from L'Oreal. It's the Infallible Matte Mechanical Eyeliner in Ultra Black. And then I used mascara, and I used the Total Temptation from Maybelline. So I also went ahead and did my lips off camera because I wanted to see how this dried down. It's been about 15 minutes now. And this is new from Milani. So this is the Matte Satin Amore Satin Matte Lipstick in number 2 Luxe. So I don't really like the way that this feels. I like the color. It kind of reminds me a little bit of Caramello from Stila, but it has a little bit of stickiness to it, and it's already feeling more dry than it is satin. I was hoping it was going to be one of those that are a little bit more moussey and just doesn't really dry down. Like, I don't have a whole lot come off. So I'm going to put a gloss over top of this. This was not intended, but I just don't like the way that this feels. So I'm going to take this one from e.l.f. It is the Lip Plumping Gloss in Champagne Glam. And I'm just going to put it right on top because I don't like the way this feels. All right, now I'm going to go through and tell you guys how I feel about everything new that I used. This is obviously new, but I do have a review out on it, the Infallible up to 24-hour fresh wear from L'Oreal. But the concealer, I am not a fan of first impression wise. Like, I feel very dry. I feel like it also darkened a little bit. This area underneath my eyes, I feel like it looks, yeah, very, very dry. I had a feeling that was going to happen because, like I said, I swatched this before I ever used it, and it has a very matte texture. I think it has a lot of coverage, but I don't like how matte this is. So for me, like, I don't think I would pick this up again personally, but if you like matte concealers, this one could be for you. Now for the Milani bronzer, I'm not sure how I feel about this color on my face. It feels a little off to me, but it did blend out well. I like the texture of it. It's just the color issue, and I bought this online. The first one looked like it might be too light, but the first option might be the better one, the number one. This does have, it kind of reminds me of the butter bronzer, the smell of it, but other than the color and everything, the texture of it was really, really nice. As for the e.l.f. Poreless Putty Primer, I'd already mentioned I don't like it on my pores. I don't feel like it is thick enough to really do anything there. I can see the smoothing effect on the rest of my face, but it does not compare to the Silk Canvas. Like this one, it feels silky, but the dry down is more of an actual dry texture. Like I feel like my skin looks kind of dry right now versus how it looked like the first few times I have used this foundation. So to me, it tells me that it has to be this primer. I definitely don't think it is a dupe for the Silk Canvas, and that's just my personal opinion. The Silk Canvas just makes my skin look smooth, but it doesn't dry it out. And this one, I feel like it did dry out my skin a little bit because I'm feeling a little dry. As for the e.l.f. Primer Infused Blush, I'm not sure how I feel about this because it could just be that I need a darker color, or it could be the formula on this that doesn't like my skin. I'm not sure. Looking at this color, I think it is stunning. Like, I think it is so pretty, but I feel like it didn't really translate onto my skin. So this, I'm gonna have to try a different color and see if it's just a color or a formula problem. And then for their highlighter, I feel like I do get a nice shine, but again, I'm adding texture. I feel like I have a lot of texture on my skin right now that I'm not used to having. It's okay. I definitely think that you can get a blinding highlight out of this. I feel like it's even better after you get that top layer off, but it is pretty hard packed in here. So you're going to want to have a brush that is going to be able to pick this up, but it's definitely not one that I'm going to grab for again. I think the Wet n Wild highlighters are better than this one personally, so this isn't a real big hit for me. And then sadly, I'm not a big fan of this Milani lipstick either. I just don't think it's a real satin matte. I think it dries down to be pretty matte, and I had like little lines in my lips. And I mean, I like the color, but the formula and everything is just a no-go. You know, the Infallible, I think it was the Infallible L'Oreal where they were real sticky. This has a slight stickiness like that as well. So I don't know, I just couldn't recommend that one. So sadly, most things have been a dud, but I did like the eyeshadow palette. So out of the shades that I did use, I didn't use very many, but I did have fallout, so watch out for that. You're gonna have some fallout on your face, but I had no issues with anything blending. I like the colors on my eyes. I like my eye the best out of everything on my face today. Like, I honestly kind of want to go wash my face off because I feel so like just dry and funky. But anywho, I hope you guys enjoyed this video anyway. Let me know what you think down below if you've tried any of these, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye guys.